So, Mom, what did you think about this week's episode of HBO's The Last of Us? It's episode 7 for those at home taking score.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, episode
Keeping score.
7, Left Behind. It was directed by Liza Johnson. Directed by Liza Johnson, written by Craig Mazin. So, how are you feeling this episode?
Best episode ever. No, no, no.
You're like, I'm keeping
I
up with the
figured,
theme, keeping up with the
exactly.
theme,
I mean, I
y'all.
say that every time, so I got to continue to say it.
Yeah,
I have mixed feelings about the episode.
yeah,
And everybody I talk to has kind of the same feelings. You texted me in the middle of it,
I
which you
did.
never do, and I knew as soon as I started getting the text that
You were
that
like,
the way I was feeling was you validated it by texting me.
yeah, I messaged you. I said, I'm not sure how I felt about this episode, and you said, ha ha ha, duh. You texted me during it. I already
Yeah,
figured that out.
yeah,
Yeah, no, it was an odd episode. The way that I best can describe this episode is that it would have been an amazing bonus episode,
like
like a
like in
DLC.
the
Yeah,
game. Yep.
yeah, exactly. There's a reason why it worked as the DLC is because it was more or less a dessert. It was an after dinner dessert.
Right.
You already had
Right.
this amazing,
Yes.
steak dinner, and then you got a fudge brownie ice cream sundae
Yeah.
afterwards.
Actually, we already had the dessert, the dinner and the dessert, and they gave us a go
A to-go
to,
bag of the to
of the
take it home
of
with us.
another dessert.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I'm down with that as well. All
Hmm.
the analogies.
Yeah.
Yeah, it worked within the context of the game because you were
Yeah.
just clamoring for
Oh,
anything else with these characters
yes.
to go back and live in this world. But within the show, we're already living in the world, and we did like, yeah, this little detour. I say little, like the episode was good. If you just package this up, here's the episode. It was really good. But in the context of the larger story, I felt like we didn't need to get away from it the way that this episode did.
Yeah.
Not in this time period. Like, I don't know if you watch Mythic Quest, but if you don't, it's hilarious. It's
I'm,
phenomenal. You don't watch it?
no, I keep meaning
Okay, well,
to start, and I just yeah.
homework.
You're like
Go
we're not
wa-
related.
Yeah, Mom, I'm going on the street. Who wants to be
Yeah.
my new
Yeah.
mom? You
Exactly.
watch Mythic Quest? Okay, you're in.
Yeah. Yep.
But Mythic Quest did this really cool thing because I believe like season 1 hit either right before the pandemic or like right around the pandemic, and yeah, I don't know if you remember this, but it was like all TV, all movies, all productions just shut
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
And we're like over here watching reruns, and that's like the only thing good.
Yeah.
Any terrible TV that dropped during that time frame was
We loved it.
golden because
Yeah.
we're like, this is so good. It's new.
It's original programming. Give us anything original.
Yeah. Well, so Mythic Quest, they did it was like a bonus episode at the end of season 1, and it was their COVID pandemic episode where literally the entire episode took place over Zoom calls and like all this kind of stuff, and it was amazing because
Yeah.
and it was amazing one because it was good, like this episode was good, but it was
Hmm.
even more amazing because I'm like, oh, you don't have to wait an entire season. Imagine had they only had 8 episodes in this season, and then like a month
Right.
later they drop this episode, and they're like,
Yes.
oh, by the way, look at this little
Yeah.
treat we got for
Yep.
y'all.
Just like in the game, that would have
Yes.
been utter perfection, and we probably would have been telling the truth when we said it was the best episode ever.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it, I think, I don't know, there was just something that wasn't quite there for me.
Yeah.
It felt slow in the beginning. It felt a little slow. Like
Yeah.
but on the other hand, it was so much like the DLC. It was
Mm-hmm.
so much like the game
Yeah.
that I loved that part of it. I was just
Yeah.
that part made me so super super happy. I liked that I got a little more backstory for Ellie that I think I've only played the DLC one time, so I don't
Oh,
remember it as well.
well, that you were going to be my go-to here because
Yeah.
yeah, I've only played it one time, and I didn't play it until very recently.
Oh, really?
Before the Last of Us Part, before the Last of Us Part Two came out, I went back and I played the game over again, but I played the DLC Left Behind for the first time for
Oh,
whatever reason.
oh.
And it's weird too because I read the comic book, but I had never played the DLC,
Hmm.
and so it was really cool getting to play that all in one go. You know, from
Yeah.
Left
Yeah.
Behind to Part One to Part Two. You know,
Yeah.
but yeah, so I wasn't sure in terms of how close
I
they
mean,
hit to
it was
this.
insanely close. It was all
Well,
the stuff at the mall.
let's
Holy
let's see if I
shit!
can pulled up IGN's lovely TV show versus game comparison
Right.
because it is very helpful to just to when you play it you know you'll instantly remember those scenes.
Yeah.
It's just like off the top of my head, it's not fresh in my memory. So
Right.
so it's always nice to go back and they're like, "Ooh, we got these static screenshots from the
Well, and
game."
I will say where the garage, where the horse is at,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, holy crap! I mean, it's like they had a picture of the game, and we're making sure to. I mean, it was perfect.
Oh, nice.
So yeah,
Well, maybe they got that picture in here.
yeah, maybe.
So yeah, this is the shot. Obviously, Joel has been, you know, he was stabbed with the rebarb
Yeah,
in the game, dying. He's dying out. Mom's crying. You know,
yeah, a lot, a lot.
her man is in dire straits, and
Yes.
Ellie is thankfully Ellie there to save him. But yeah, so there's the nice juxtaposition of the
Yeah, because we got a different side view on this side.
yeah, and they were in
Yeah.
they were in the mall in the game, I believe, and in here in the show they were in some like abandoned house,
Yeah.
more or less.
Well, no, they were in the game. They were in a it was in the school when he got hurt, and then
But
she brought him.
didn't they go to a mall first? Then that's in the mall she has to fight off the raiders and she has to kill clickers. She has to go up in the helicopter to get the medicine supplies, and then she comes back.
Oh,
That's what saves him, and then so that they did the time jump a little bit differently because
yeah,
then it jumps
yeah,
to winter.
yeah,
And she's killing the rabbit with the first scene is like she kills the rabbit
yeah,
with the bow. So
yeah.
it was yeah
They skipped around a little
they're
bit.
playing a little
Hmm.
fast and
Yeah,
loose and loosey
yeah,
goosey. So
yeah,
yeah, so I thought that was really cool. And obviously, you know, this is getting into the DLC, I believe, for Left Behind, where Ellie's in the bed. We see this with this scene in the show.
yeah,
Riley comes in hot through the window and almost gets a beat down.
yeah.
And hey,
Yep.
there you go.
Oh wow.
She almost got stabbed in the
Yeah,
game. So
and she's giggling about it.
yeah, you know, and so
See,
there
I
you go.
really, I didn't remember any of that.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, it's
I remember all I remembered was when they get to the mall. That's
yeah,
the part that I
that's
remembered.
yeah. Well, that's the most memorable.
Yes,
I will say that this, having recently within the last like couple of years playing Uncharted, for some reason,
the
this
coloring.
well the coloring and like just this scene in particular like is reminding me of Uncharted 4 when we have the young Nate and the slightly
Oh
older
yeah, yeah.
Sam.
Uh-huh.
And because he comes back through the window, I believe, right, or something like
Yeah.
that, because
Hmm.
he's been out away from where he's supposed to be. Sam is. So yeah, I don't know. It for some
Yeah.
reason it just hit me as we're looking at that static image. So here's the awesome shot of the carousel scene, which was beautiful in the
Yeah.
game, absolutely spectacular in the show.
Yeah.
I mean,
It was. It was
freaking
so
crushed
great.
it.
Hmm.
Yeah, they crushed that. That was beautiful. Um, and of course, we get the iconic,
In the photo booth.
yeah, photo booth shots, game, TV show.
Mm.
I mean, that's just Oh, so wonderful.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Now, I don't think Ellie had a black eye, and
No, no,
yeah,
all of the stuff with Bethany that's
yeah.
unique to the TV show, which I kind of enjoyed getting to see just this tiny glimpse into
Yes.
life at the Fedra
Oh,
school. You know,
me
thought that was
too.
cool.
Because I never thought about it.
No, never thought about it either. And I will say that Craig Mazin did a really great job in this episode of painting Fedra in a really nice light because you've got Captain Kwong over here, super nice guy, and he's
Yeah,
just there to like
he
guide
guide
Ellie in the
her.
right
Yeah,
direction. And then you've got the Fireflies over here, Riley
making
building,
making pipe
yeah, making
bombs.
pipe bombs. Like who's who's bad and who's good here, y'all? I mean, and not to mention, so because all everything with Riley and Ellie is a flashback prior to Ellie getting bit, and we remember in the first episode, Joel and Tess, the QZ gets bombed.
Right.
Were those Riley's pipe bombs? So,
Yeah.
yeah, we know that Fedra does some awful heinous things, but I still look at that as like Fedra's not the bad guy, the Fireflies are not the good guy,
Right. Right.
Joel and Tess are not the good or bad guys.
Right.
Like it's all down to that individual and circumstances
Yes.
and all those different things because
Bunch of people just trying to make it through,
yeah,
obviously.
yeah, exactly. So we continue on in the mall. Raja's.
Oh yeah.
Man, I mean I have to. I mean, look at that. Look at Raja's arcade. Like just
Yeah.
freaking beautiful. And then playing the racing game. There you go. There's Ellie playing the racing game. I mean, look at. I mean, I know it's
Jeez.
just a
Come
mask and
on.
everything, but look
I know,
how
but still.
the Halloween shop. Look at that. Boom. Just
That's crazy.
yeah, just so good. I will say I like Ellie's shirt more in the game
Yes, me
than
too.
this shirt.
Yeah.
Um, very minor gripe.
Yes. Yeah.
We've got the killer clowns from outer space, basically, which is was terrified me as a kid. Even
I
though
did not. I did not.
oh, you didn't
That
approve of
had
me
not.
watching that?
No. It
Yeah,
was.
no. Dad got that one in there. That's
Mhm.
what you get when you have
Divided
an
family.
well, and an older sister
Yeah.
that is like
Yeah.
in her teenage years when you're like 9. So
Yeah.
you get to watch all the Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Streets and
Yeah.
all the terrible things. But yeah, that looked great.
You survived.
I did survive.
Yeah.
I'm pretty
Mhm.
well adjusted, I would
Yep.
say.
And now.
Just years and years of
Now.
therapy.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
here's the kiss.
Yeah.
Beautiful kiss.
I,
There we go.
Bella, I thought did an amazing job with the
Hmm.
kiss. That whole scene. I mean, that was great.
Yeah. Oh, going up front. I know I wasn't super just into this episode, but it was
Mhm.
because it broke all the action up,
Yeah.
and I didn't mind it as, and I was going to ask you about this. I personally didn't mind it as much when they did it in episode 3. And I think, honestly, even though both stories on their own were both great, they were riveting television on their own,
Right.
beautiful when they're encapsulated by themselves. But the fact that we got 2 of these very similar
Yep.
types of episodes in a span of a month, basically.
Yeah.
I think that episode 3 kind of hurt this episode, even despite how much I
Yes.
loved it.
Right. I think you're right. It was the fact that that's still very fresh on our mind that we
Yeah.
just had that.
Yes.
And so are we going to just keep, you know, breaking the story to go off on these little love connections, which
Yeah.
is it's fine. It's great for us to get some backstory
Yeah.
into these characters, but damn it, Joel was in pain.
Hey, you
I
got to get
needed
back to
s-
Joel. Save
I
Joel.
needed I needed something done.
Yeah, and I think we've talked about it. The show is definitely less action packed. It's more about the emotional drama
Right.
of the. It's a more. It's definitely more of a character driven
Yeah.
show drama than it is an action adventure
Yeah.
driven. I'm totally okay with that. Those are usually my favorite things anyway. And you sprinkle in some nice little action, that's great. But I do think that they missed, and maybe it's coming. Maybe the way that they're doing the winter scene with David and the people we saw in the trailer. Maybe the way that they're meshing that together with Joel being injured. Maybe that Ellie still has to do all this stuff. I don't know,
Yeah. I don't
but
either.
I definitely feel like we yeah it took a little bit away because the storyline, even though yes it was different, it was still very similar in
Yeah.
nature of here's this beautiful love story of older love and what that means over time, and young
Right.
love and what that means whenever you're younger. This is like the first time you're experiencing these feelings, the first time you're doing all of these things with another
Mhm.
person that you like. It's at the end of the day, it's still a love story.
Yeah. No, I mean it again, when we got to probably the last 15 minutes of
Yeah,
it, um, I started getting more
yeah,
into the episode. But it was the first half of it
yeah.
really was kind of slow for me. I don't know. I just
I don't know if they'll show it in here in these pictures. Well, here I'll come back to them real quick because I don't know if they're going to show it. I will say I absolutely loved the scene where Joel is telling Ellie to leave.
mhm.
That was just gut wrenching,
Yep.
and the tear that he had in his eye. Whew, like that
Yeah.
was some phenomenal work from Pedro Pascal in this week's episode with no dialogue, no words being spoken, all facial expressions.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did love that, but then it was just like immediately,
Yeah.
we're outie and
I did like the way they did it.
yeah,
That she's thinking back on losing somebody, and
yeah,
you realize that she's not going to lose Joel. That's
yes,
when she thinks about. I mean, it happened in just a blink of an eye for her to
yeah,
be thinking about it.
yeah,
So I did love that. I love, she's tearing the house apart, just trying to find something to help him.
hmm.
Um, yeah,
It
it,
would have definitely been a little bit more unbelievable had she had to take out 15 raiders and two
yeah,
clickers and then
yeah,
scale up basically stairs up to a helicopter that's just hanging out in the middle of the mall. I get it, and not to mention the fact that apparently the mall was mostly VFX, which you could definitely tell in that one shot where they first come into the mall,
uh
and it's
huh,
the behind, like you see like Ellie's looking into the mall like from the
right.
from the second floor. I was like,
Because there was
ooh,
a
that was not a
one story
yeah,
mall.
yeah,
So
that they turned
yeah,
into like a grander mall, and I'm just like,
right.
that was kind of a bummer because yeah, it definitely. Well, I mean,
It took you out of it.
once they went into the individual stores and they were just kind
Hmm.
of walking through, it was beautiful, and I was like, oh my gosh, back again,
Yeah,
crushing the
yeah.
set designs and everything. But that one shot, I was like, ooh, I was like, I didn't like that.
I was watching on a TV that, my gigantic TV,
Yeah,
and I couldn't tell. I think the resolution is not all that great.
it could be that. I mean,
Or somebody was texting me
yeah,
possibly,
you might
and
have
that might have been I was
interrupted
looking
you during the mall shot. So
down on my
yeah,
phone.
yeah, you're
So
missing out on that big old VFX mall.
yeah.
So yeah, there's Ellie's bite from the game. There's Ellie's bite from the show. Very good. There's Riley showing off where she got bit on her hand.
Uh,
Um, There's
I
Riley.
thought they did such a great job with casting
Oh yeah,
Riley. She looks so similar. I mean, they
yeah. Storm Reed, I believe, is her name.
yeah,
Yeah.
and she did an amazing job. Um, I Ellie, did she say Riley incorrectly a couple of times? Did she say Rayleigh?
Riley?
I
Maybe.
don't know. A
I don't
couple
know.
of times I thought, wait a minute. Did she what'd she call her?
What'd she
So
say? No,
yeah,
if she did, I didn't notice it.
yeah.
But yeah, going back to just like overall feelings about the episode. I did love that this was the whole theme of like what is, and I believe it was Craig Mazin or Neil Druckmann. What does skipping school look like in a post-apocalyptic
Yeah.
world? I thought they did a great job of that. It definitely,
Mhm.
I was feeling those vibes of like Ferris Bueller's Day Off, and
Yeah.
like they're just having
Yeah.
fun and doing all
I
that.
mean, just the whole uh, falling in love is
Yeah.
difficult
Oh.
in regular life,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I thought it was great to you can get some of those feelings of when you the first time you touch somebody's hand
Mm-hmm.
and getting cramped up together in the little photo booth and how amazing that is because you finally are arm to arm with somebody that you
Yeah.
really like. So I thought that was so great. I mean, it really was. It was a great episode. I just
Mm-hmm.
didn't. I'm like you. Had they given me this as a bonus
Yeah.
uh, in a month from now, I would have been pooping my pants.
Yeah.
So
It would have had a completely different feel to to where it was placed in the
yeah,
overall season.
yeah,
One thing that really stood out to me, and I just wrote in my notes that this episode was super realistic because as they're going through the mall and they pass by the movie theater, which was a nice little Easter egg for the game because it was the same movie posters that we see all throughout the
yes,
game. The
yeah,
Wolf something two, I forget what it is.
yeah,
Um, but the back in 5 minutes sign, I
yeah,
don't know what it was, but I was immediately like just uh, I guess transferred. I don't remember I don't know what the word is for it, but like um, whenever the pandemic happened in 2020, I was working at GameStop at the corporate office of GameStop, and Animal Crossing was about to release. So this was like right in March 2020, and I had, of course, like all my, because I worked on the marketing for the releases of games and stuff like that. And I had all these notes and, writings and,
mhm,
printouts and all kinds of stuff on my desk. And we had done some fun stuff with Animal Crossing. Nintendo didn't know about it because they would have been like, no. Where because people were really getting behind because Doom Eternal released at the same on the same date as Animal Crossing, and there were so many of these funny, cutesy crossovers between the Doom
mhm,
guy and the Animal Crossing characters. But anyways, the year or so later, when I went back to the office for the
right,
first time, and everything was exactly as I had
yeah,
left it on that day. And it was so surreal and creepy
yeah,
and just
because
odd.
the
Like life had
office,
stopped.
everything was empty.
Yes.
No one else was there.
Yeah.
All the little bobbleheads in the window were still
The
doing this.
they were still they were doing
Mhm,
their job in the
mhm.
window, and nobody was there to
Yeah,
see them
nobody
do
was
their
yeah,
job.
yeah,
Yeah, it was just so weird. In that scene was it was a throwaway. I mean, like not a throwaway, but it was just like a as they walked
yeah,
by, it's like be back in 5 minutes. But yeah, that was just like a such a whoo. That was just a
mhm,
couple of years ago
yeah,
that we lived through that, which was wild. So yeah, and the authenticity, I thought the mall was absolutely amazing.
yeah.
Yeah, super super cool to get to see that. Um, so, was there anything else? I mean, like um, the one major thing, in terms of the changes made from the game to the show Like I said, Ellie doesn't go to a mall in this version in terms of to fight and protect
Right.
Joel.
Right.
She does that in the game. There's no Bethany, obviously in the game, and we get more scenes with Fedra that we didn't get
Yeah.
in the game.
Right.
There's no water pistol fight.
I
Heard,
know that was
heard,
kind of a bummer.
heard a lot of
She
people were
said
sad about that.
she said something about the water pistol.
Who did?
Did she not say? Did Ellie say something about? Are we gonna have a water pistol fight? Did she not say
Oh,
that?
she did. You're right.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot she dropped that little line. I guess
Mm-hmm.
that was their way of like, yeah, we're not putting
Yeah.
that in
Yeah.
here. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, that was I saw some people complaining about that. I can't
That's
remember
so funny.
I can't remember who it was complaining about Mortal Kombat being in the game. Well, maybe it was a Twitter mess or post I saw where they're like, or maybe actually I think it was a Kotaku article, and they were bitching about the fact that this felt just like an advertisement for Mortal Kombat 2, and I'm like, no, it's
Oh,
just because that game was mega huge when arcades were a big
yeah.
deal.
That's so funny. Why would? That's funny.
That's one of those things where you're just not thinking. I don't, thinking it through in terms of, okay, this was 2003
Right.
when the shit hit the fan.
Mm-hmm.
What was going 2003 arcades were still a thing. They were still
Yes.
hot. And
Yeah.
now granted at that point it probably Mortal Kombat 2 was like when I was younger. That would have been by that point like maybe Mortal Kombat 3, Ultimate Mortal Kombat. I don't remember. There was so many Mortal Kombats.
Yeah.
They went off the rails for a minute.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they had a nice comeback, but and I get it. It's like it's the Warner Brothers connection now that
Right.
it's on HBO Max, and instead of the Fate game that they created,
Yes. Yeah.
it's like you can have a real Mortal Kombat game.
Yeah.
So
Which is what the fake game was created after.
yeah, yes, exactly. It was
So
an
why
homage.
not have the real thing?
Yeah. Now I will say I am definitely going to call bullshit on them pulling off the fatalities that easily.
Hey,
Because it
you
was
punched
not
the
that
right.
easy in the arcade. On your controller, it was a lot simpler.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I plunked those quarters down at the arcade, and I wasn't pulling off those fatalities.
Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, I get it.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. If you weren't able to do it,
Then they shouldn't be able to do
they
it.
were not able
Exactly.
to,
Yeah,
for sure.
they didn't know how to play any video games. Come on now. Yeah, and one other thing I just want to drop because I love Pearl Jam. I thought that was a really cool song that they opened with. I don't know if you looked up the lyrics or anything, but woof, geez, Pearl Jam can get really sad sometimes. The opening, it's a hopeless situation, and I'm starting to believe that this hopeless situation is what I'm trying to achieve. So that's could be construed as maybe maybe poetic in the sense of that this hopeless situation is what I'm trying to achieve. I'm going to look at that on the
Right.
positive side, that's Ellie realizing that the hopeless situation with Joel is what she's going to hold on to, and she's not going to let it go.
Okay.
And she's going to achieve
Okay.
happiness with Joel. So,
Okay. That's what I don't get that from those
yeah,
lyrics,
you
but
don't get that?
I
Well,
do. No,
that's what I like to call
that's
myself
okay.
deep.
Yeah, there you go. Or delusional. One of the two.
One of the two D words. Yeah, yeah. Okay. I think that's about it for me
Yeah.
for this episode. Oh wait, two final. This is the
Yeah.
final.
Two final things.
Yeah, final thing. Was Riley the first person that Ellie killed? She mentions
Well,
that to Joel in episode 4. That
she does.
Yeah.
But I mean, she did kill the clicker also. Or the infected. She killed the infected.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know either.
Did we find did that happen in the game? Did she kill Riley in the game? What happened?
I don't remember which.
Oh, okay. Well, somebody drop it in the comments.
Yeah, because I don't remember.
Yeah, I'm blank. I was blanking. I meant to go watch a YouTube video of like what happened to Riley.
Yeah, refresher.
Yeah, as
Mhm.
a refresher, but I didn't have a
Yeah.
chance. So
Well, I was watching I was trying to watch one last night,
Yeah.
and they stopped before they got to that part.
Well, I think we might have watched the same video because I just like, wait, I know something else happened here, but
Yeah,
yeah, I
yeah.
I couldn't figure it out. And then I'm gonna leave it on a sad, not a sad note, but a very sentimental note.
Okay.
Um, I loved, we got the scene where Joel's telling Ellie to go away,
Hmm.
and that was, it came back around full circle to Ellie trying to save Joel by sewing him up,
Yeah.
his wound. Oh my
Hmm.
God! Whenever she like held Joel's hand and the way that
Ah,
he looked at her, oh, that was soul
that
crushing.
was when we got to that point. Then I'm
Yeah,
like, best episode ever.
yeah. Then you really meant it, right?
Uh-huh. Because I yeah, that was the hands.
Oh, yeah,
That was so so amazing.
yeah.
Um they're a great team, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited to see where their relationship goes after this episode. If we can if we can save Joel.
Yeah, if we can save Joel, but we
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
and we only got 2 episodes left, which
I
is
know.
too
And
too many. Or no, no, too
two
few.
yeah,
Too
it's way way too few.
Yeah, that's a two yeah, whatever it is,
Yeah,
not enough.
not it's not enough.
Yeah,
And it's not fair, and yeah.
and my
I
mom's gonna write a letter.
yeah, I am. Some angry tweets are going out,
Yeah,
man.
put those angry
It
tweets out there.
really
No,
says if you go to IMDb, it looks like there's 9, and it's because they have one listed for season 2.
oh no, there are 9 episodes. Yeah, because we got episode 8 coming up next week, and then
Oh,
episode
we
9.
do.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
There's
Okay.
two
Well,
episodes. There's two
maybe
episodes
I
left,
yeah,
but
maybe I thought there was 10. That's
well,
it. I thought there was
there
10 originally.
there were 10 episodes originally, but they were going to split that episode 1 in half.
Okay.
That was the thing, and
Okay.
HBO was like, "Yeah, that's probably not the best way to do it."
Yeah.
So
Okay.
that's why
That's where I saw
we have
that.
9
And
instead of 10.
all
So,
right.
all right, Mom, it was always fun.
It was,
I
even though
love
we
talking
had
The Last of Us.
audio and video issues out the yin yang.
We
But
did, but we made
yeah,
it through it,
we did.
and your
So
audio's there. So,
yeah,
bye
that's
bye,
good.
everybody.
Bye. Thanks for watching.